Hello, Lego fans, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Brick Hour Podcast. I am your host, JJ, otherwise known as Langster Builds on Instagram. With me, as always, my wonderful co-host, Cam, otherwise known as Camera Studios.
How's it going?
And with us today, another special guest, we've been on a string of guests lately, is our good friend, Rob, otherwise known as Rob's WW2 Bricks on Instagram.
Hi, everybody. My name's Rob.
Great
If anybody
introduction.
doesn't, if anyone
Thank
doesn't
you.
know who you are, Rob, from your following on Instagram or from seeing you at conventions, just give a quick, if you'd like to say a quick couple things about yourself, that'd be great.
Yeah. So I'm friends with JJ and Cameron, in from the Rochester area in the local Rochester Lego user group. And I mostly build, as in my name, military and World War II Lego. So a lot of tanks and stuff like that. But I'm also a fan of Star Wars and a few other themes.
Yeah, a lot of your stuff is pretty great. Especially, I love your tanks. I know you get them. I know a lot of time it's like rebrickable stuff, but your tanks are still great to see.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you.
So this week we are talking about the local Rochester Maker Faire that happened. Oh, it's not local, but the Maker Faire that was in Rochester, which we will get to shortly. But first, we have a couple things to get through, starting with what are we building? So we'll start with Cam on that.
I am pretty light this week. Actually, during our video last week, I had my brother sneak over to the Lego store after his job to snag me a couple of the Build a minifigures because I wanted the new green suit.
Ah, yes, the green brick suit.
And I didn't realize it, but like this is actually the eighth one we have now.
Hmm.
Because I have the red, orange, and I believe it's light green, or yeah, bright
Hmm.
green, and this is green. Then we also got blue, and then we got dark
Like what
turquoise,
turquoise, baby sand blue, and pink.
bright light blue, and dark pink.
Okay.
I got the periodic table that I'm looking at. But I was worried because like when I sent my brother to get the green one, I was like, crap, I already have a green one. But then looking at them closer, they are different colors, which is cool. So now we are up to eight. And then just another Santa Claus with a cool 2x3 tile.
Mhm.
And then a Christmas surfboard, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, is it printed?
It's printed.
Oh, that's sick. That's cool.
And then a little girl with a cool Christmas sweater with a Christmas tree and a snowman.
Interesting. That's fun.
And
That's
yes, I
fun.
told him to get me a purple mohawk just because it's a different piece that I don't think is very common. And then to top it off, leading into Maker Faire, JJ, thanks to you, I now have the original Two-Face. I've been
Hmm.
wanting him for a long time. I would remember playing as him in the video game a lot just because I liked him having the two guns. It was either him or Joker when I played the villain levels, and it's one I've always wanted for the longest time. And I remember trying to get one when I was younger at a secondhand store, and he sold it to me cracked, but he wasn't like a Lego store, it was like a sports memorabilia store. So I knew he really didn't know what he was doing, and like I saw it was cracked and I returned it right away. So now that I finally have him in my collection, it's been a long time coming. So thank you, JJ.
You're welcome.
And that is all I have. So it's pretty light in what I'm building because I've been busy trying to clean up the area. I finished my Disney area, and next up is probably Marvel because I just took apart a few Disney sets, including like Elsa's Ice Castle. That was a pretty big spot that was
That
filling
that
up.
set is massive. Rob, would you like to go next?
Sure. I haven't really been building much, but I did go to the local, I guess, Lego store that's not the Lego store.
Third party
Um,
store, Bricks
Third
Rock.
party, sorry, yeah, Bricks Rock, and I picked up the 2012 Sopwith Camel. Um,
Mm.
I went to trade in some stuff, and I walk in and I see it on the counter, and I was like, I'm going to break my Lego budget for the month. But it's one of those sets that like I knew it was out there and stuff, but I think unless I saw it in person, I don't think I would have purchased it. But I was like, you know what,
Yeah,
that is a cool set, and I kind of want it. So
Definitely.
it's one of that was one when I went in there last time I saw it on the counter, and I was
mm.
just kind of like, wow, this looks so good. But yeah,
Going into
I'm
that
I'm
store,
glad you ended up with it because I feel like you of all people definitely am going to enjoy that a lot.
going into that store is very dangerous. I mean, I got if you've seen before, Rob, I got one of my white whales from there with the Tron
Mhm.
set. I have been eyeing it for a while, and every time I saw it on Bricklink, it just felt a little too high.
Mhm.
But then after having spent insider points on the X-Men Mansion, I felt like I can spend a
Yeah,
little extra today, and then there's
splurge.
JJ egging me on to get it.
Bad influence like you are.
Hey, I stopped you from buying stuff.
You have. And then I went back and got it anyway. I this week actually also went to Bricks Rock and traded some things in. Always love plugging the local small business because it's always great to see support for those guys. And I picked up a Lego Batman movie set. I am totally forgetting what the name of this is, but it is the Harley Quinn truck with the
Oh,
giant like comic cannon on the top of it. The amount of motion on this cannon is nuts. Like it can rotate back and forward and up, and it's wild how good
wow.
this is. The main reason I got this is because I needed to get to the two villain figures that came with it because Crazy Quilt and Gentleman Ghost only come in that set. And Gentleman Ghost is like $50 to $60 on Bricklink to buy. He is
Wow.
wicked expensive, and I was not doing that.
Does he have special
So,
printing or anything?
yes, he
Oh,
has an exclusive torso, head, and I think hat. Um,
dang.
but with the addition of those two minifigures, which I think are actually sitting right down there right now, yeah. With the addition of the of those two minifigures, I am missing one minifigure, and I will have one of at least one variant of every officially released Batman villain Lego has ever made.
Wow.
The only figure I am missing is Polka Dot Man, and that is going to be fun trying to get him.
Are you gonna get the set or just him?
God no, that set is worth way too much right now. I feel like Rob's Googling it to see how much he
Yeah,
knows.
yeah. I got Bricklink pulled up. I gotta see.
Let's see what it comes up to.
Oh, come on.
I
Yeah,
mean,
crazy.
I feel like Polka Dot Man went up just because of the Suicide Squad movie
He was
coming
in that
out.
movie and it's his value like tripled
Hmm.
overnight. So, but
No, save
With
money.
that cannon, JJ, how like it shoots the minifigure? Like, how's that play feature?
you just jam her in there and flick the back and she goes either sputters out or doesn't go anywhere. The problem is the Harley figure that comes with that set is like has an exclusive like stiff tape. So I
Oh,
have not put her in there because I do not want to crinkle it because it is a exclusive cape
makes you wonder how much the cape is.
with print on it. Um,
Printed cape.
yeah, it's a printed cape.
Yeah. Yeah, Polka Dot Man is not cheap.
No, he's not. I think
No.
he's like 50 minimum, I think.
For
Jeez.
a new one,
Or I
uh,
think for just a used one.
used it if I'm looking at the right one, it's saying well, that's not US. That's the better question. Are you looking US or are you
Mm,
looking
I'm looking
international?
US, yeah.
the shipping alone would just make it double the price if you're going outside the US.
Probably.
True, true. There's I was gonna crack on it, like Playware, $30,
That's not
probably 30,
horrible.
That
35
could be
for a
worse.
used.
I mean,
One guy's got
JJ,
a new one for 35.
Well, I might have to jump on that tonight
I'm gonna
then.
say like you're gonna get it regardless.
I'm
I
gonna have
mean,
to
you
buy
could go
that
either
tonight.
just paying for Polka Dot Man or maybe getting the set and then trying to sell the other
Rob,
figures.
can you email me that link so I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
buy
You
that
want
tonight?
you want to know the guy's name on Bricklink is
What is it?
JJ's Bricks.
No, it's not.
No way.
It's his name, his store name isn't that, but that's his name on Bricklink is
That is
JJ's Bricks.
funny. I'm gonna so buy that
JJ,
from him.
I
Yes.
dare you to buy it right now.
I'm not gonna buy it on air. It'll take too long. Anyways,
I'll if
so
you don't, I will.
I'll fight you.
All right.
So we have some news to go over first. I'm gonna divert Cam.
Yeah, because I'm the
It's
one
gonna
that has to
take too
share the
long.
news. Thank you for that.
So we had a couple small things this week that we're gonna address really quick. So we're gonna go to big screen mode.
All right.
There we go. Screen share is up. So, first things first, Lego Insider Weekend is this weekend, which is the 23rd and 24th. The time of this recording, it is not up yet. By the time this episode is out, it will be live.
At the moment, it's
Um,
3 days away.
yes, so there will be double points that whole weekend. And I believe there are, oh, well,
So
there's
yeah,
save with member offer. on select sets, which I don't think those sets have been revealed yet,
Not
have they,
yet.
or announced?
I
Not
think
yet.
it'll be like a day before, maybe.
Probably. Double points on every purchase. So spend 50 to earn 650 Lego Insiders points. So it's literally like for every threshold you hit, you will get points
Which is pretty good, honestly. I
on
mean,
top of whatever else you've already bought, which is kind of nice.
mhm.
Um, so you'll be able to redeem that. Their point redemption system is different now, which is
Yeah, I
cool.
saw that. That's like
It
if you
is
can
now
kind of
a slider
scroll.
instead of like so let's say you had like a certain amount of points where you could get like $100 voucher and you can get like two $5 vouchers. That is now gone. Now it allows you to basically slide and toggle how many points you want to use. And I love that. I think
Of
that's a lot
course,
better,
of course they do it as soon as I use up all my points to get the X-Men mansion, so I can't see how much I get at once.
which
Now
is
I got to build
hilarious.
it up again. But I think
Um,
it's a great idea, honestly, just because if you did it online, like you had to do the 100, or like specific amounts, and that's just so many codes. I mean, at least in the
yes.
store, it was easier because it would tell you
Because
how
the
much you
store does
had.
that.
Right. The store basically does the slide. So adding it now, I think, is kind of ingenious,
Correct.
and it's just going to make it easier. It's a better experience for everybody.
Mhm.
And then moving on for Insiders Weekend, I gotta say, I like these gift with purchases. I think the record player is really cool looking. I mean, looking at it, it's got a decent piece count.
Yeah, it
And
looks
then
pretty cool.
anytime I see a set with a lot of those trans clear pieces, I don't see those a whole lot outside like buildings, so it's nice to see those elsewhere.
I
And
like
then
the
the
train
train
more.
is a really decent size as well. And I love the techniques they've used on it.
Yeah, the train's a cool one. I like how they did that front on it.
Yes.
Using
Hmm.
those flags, I guess.
Yeah, those little flag wing, whatever you want to call them. That's a great part used there.
And then
I'm
cool use
that
of that
that
cloud
retro
piece.
that retro record player could literally be a set in itself,
It
and so
really
could the
could.
train, honestly.
And I can just see it going, it's going to shoot up on the aftermarket because you're going to see a
Oh yeah.
lot of like music lovers wanting it. Like anybody who has like the Lego Ideas guitar set are going to want this just to kind of go hand in hand.
This will go nicely with that.
I mean, and it's got a huge threshold too. So you know it's going to be up there in price as
Yeah,
well.
250 is a massive threshold for that. But yeah, some pretty good deals. Now, these are not Black Friday deals.
No.
The Black Friday deals will be separate. There is a list of sets that are supposedly going to be on Black Friday, like
Mm.
the AT-ATs, the UCS AT-AT is going to be 20% off.
Oh,
There are,
twenty.
JJ,
yeah, I'm not
JJ,
buying. No, not yet.
Aaron wants
There's,
it.
I know she does, and she can wait. So yeah, there will be a bunch of sets on that. Now I don't think they were announced yet. There's like a website that's basically like, yeah, these sets are going on here. Um, take that with a grain of salt until the actual announcement comes from Lego what they're going to be at. But yeah, these two gift with purchases are just on sale then, or not on sale. They're going to be included just this weekend, the 23rd and 24th. So that's
And
pretty cool.
then we got this
And
holiday
then,
crafting set for
yep,
$65 of City, Friends, Duplo, Dreams, or Ninjago.
yep.
JJ, get yourself some Duplo.
I've got myself enough Duplo lately. Is there anything else below that?
They're introducing the Barracuda Seas for the
Ooh, the
2400
wannabe.
Lego Insider
I'll
points.
take 1,000,000 points.
Yeah,
Um,
that's gonna be a cool contest. What is that the I think that's the
like a
pencil
pencil
kit.
case. It's cool.
Yeah, but other than that, that's all there
Oh wait, scroll
is.
down. There's the sets that are going to be for it. On
No, these are
select
just
sets.
great gifts.
Oh, never
Like
mind. And of course, all the
stocking
brand new stuff.
stuffers. And then there's not much information on Black Friday yet outside of just that.
Mine is just that. Yeah.
Learn
So the other
more. What do we get?
probably nothing else.
Mm,
Not really.
not
No,
much.
still
Not
waiting.
yet.
So
So,
the only other thing Lego news wise this week was ideas. They announced the first like review period set for 2024 is the like the mineral display or mineral shelf. I love this. This I would not play that. That's oh, it's muted. Never mind. We're
yeah,
good.
I muted it. I got
Um,
it.
I said we're gonna get copyright strike with that music.
Mhm.
I love how this looks. It looks really
It
cool.
does. The techniques and just how realistic it looks, honestly. Like I remember
I
seeing like the quartz in like my grandfather's house just sitting on his
Mhm.
mantle, and it's not identical, obviously, because like every rock's different, but like it looks realistic.
So I saw this picture on Instagram. I didn't know at the time I was like, oh, that's cool. Someone made a fan model and kept scrolling because I just wasn't paying attention.
Hmm.
But I didn't even know that the shelf is made out of Lego. I didn't see
Yeah.
that.
And these
Dang.
little the builds for these little crystals are so cool.
I love the use of those pieces that they've been using for the CMF line.
Yep. These are gonna fit in perfectly with like your botanical collection.
It
Oh
reminds me of
yeah.
the tiny
Yep,
plant series.
it does. This
Yes.
will look great. And I also feel like this hopefully will be less than $100.
I mean,
It
it
probably it probably will
it
it will
won't
probably be exactly 100.
because it's got the shelf with it.
Yeah,
So
but
like,
the shelf seems pretty bare bones. Like it doesn't seem that crazy.
I
That
mean,
doesn't there's dude, that's all one by piece. That's not a lot.
you're
And they're
right.
what, one by sixes?
Looks like
Yeah.
yeah, looks like it. Like it's
This
not gonna be
actually
that
might
bad.
be the first idea set in a long time under 100. But I mean,
Yeah, but it's probably still gonna be like 70 to 80
Yeah,
if
which is
okay.
still
it
I
gets
agree, but
under
better.
it won't be like, the $300 lighthouse that came out. It's not gonna be like that.
It's a step in the right
True,
direction
true.
for getting smaller Lego idea sets back into the fold outside of gift with purchases.
Yeah, we're getting a good mix. I like this. I actually might get this. It's pretty cool. We'll see. Um,
I know a few
but yeah,
friends of
that's
mine that
that's
aren't Lego fans that are going to actually want this just because they're trying to decorate their homes and like it's subtle and it's
mhm.
realistic enough where instead of buying the actual gems,
Yep,
you buy this.
exactly.
I'm wondering how Jeffrey's gonna feel about it.
Your brother? Oh yeah, he's gonna go nuts over this.
We'll see. He either will or he won't. I don't know. I
Jeffrey's gonna love this, dude. He's gonna go nuts over
he
this thing.
probably is. He probably is. Yeah.
Um, so that was all the news for this week. So now we're gonna get into this is our first ever event wrap up, Cam.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, honestly, it's a first event we've done since we've done
since
Brick
we started the
Universe,
pod,
at
yeah.
least you and me.
So this event is the Maker Faire. I believe Maker Faire travels around a bunch too, if I'm not wrong.
I believe so.
Because they're doing one in Syracuse along with Rochester. I think they jump around a little bit, I
Hmm.
think. I don't know if
Yeah.
they do. Yeah.
I know Syracuse was talking to some of us from the Lego the club and stuff about coming
Yeah.
to Syracuse.
So the Maker Faire, basically the gist of this event is it's basically like a STEM showcase thing. A lot of people like 3D printing, Lego construction, just engineering builds, all kinds of crazy
There's
stuff.
blacksmithing,
Yeah,
woodworking,
there's a lot of really cool
robotics,
stuff there.
cosplay.
Yep. And Lego, of course, fits into that perfectly. So Rock Lug, our group, had a pretty sizable display there. So we're gonna really just talk about the general vibe of the show, how what we brought to display, what builds Rock Lug had. There's pictures on our Instagram if you do want to go see them. We will that link will be in the description below. And then some of the other displays there, and just kind of how much fun we had. So I will pass it to Cam to start off.
So there was 2 days for this event for us. So the first day was on the Friday. So it would allow schools from across New York to come down and visit. They had a grades third through eighth, and they would just come down, take a look around. I think we had somewhere north of 15 to 1600 kids
I think you're
throughout the
right.
entire day. And that was actually a cool experience for me personally, just because just seeing the different ages, the different levels of interest, and they obviously loved like our great ball contraption. Like they couldn't get enough of that. That's a really popular thing, especially amongst kids following it
Yeah,
around.
GBC is always huge.
Mhm. And I got a lot of the kids because Amber was to my left of my display, and
Hmm.
she had some cool Technic from like the early 90s, I think. Old Technic sets that you could play with, and the
She
kids
had
were
some
going nuts over it.
throwbots, I thought, right?
Hmm. Not
Great.
robots. They were like technically like one was like it looked like a bug and it had like a motor that would make it spin around. And there's these Technic quote unquote blasters where if you pulled the trigger, it would shoot out like a Rock'em Sock'em robot arm to try and hit a target.
Was it a Slicer bot then? It might have been.
They were cool because I remember stopping and looking at them because they had some like that like what I
It
guess
had
like
the
the old purple, like teal,
mhm.
like
Yeah,
some.
they
And
were
it
really
had the
cool looking.
cool Technic figures. Like they were bigger than minifigures. I thought
The
that was really cool.
the Technic Big Figs, yeah, I got one of those. They're just cool because they're a little more posable and stuff like that.
I
They
would
have
love to see those
knees.
make a comeback.
They have knees and elbows.
They'll
Yeah.
never come back, but I'd love to see them make a comeback.
And but so she was always like after they all the kids went to GBC, they would like want to come to me and her mine and her section because she had the stuff you can actually touch, which most of Lego it's most displays with Lego we try not to let people touch just because it can be very delicate.
Hmm.
And but she had stuff that you could touch, and so that brought a lot of attention. And I had my Disney Mosaic mock that I've updated since Brick Universe, actually.
So you've got it right there, don't you? Yeah, there
Yep.
it is.
So there we go. So what I liked about this is it kind of caught the kids' attention, and it was fun seeing the kids try and name every single character.
Hmm.
Some of them got stuck, and I based it off of Disney CMF line 1 and 2, and I had a cool little display of all those minifigures in front of it. So just to see like how I built it, and the ones with stars on here are Lego's design. Anyone without a star is my design.
Hmm.
So I ended up having to design 20 of my own. And this is only the first half of my plan for this display for Brick Universe, but I couldn't finish that quite yet. But it was just really fun just to see different kids interact with it. And there was this one little girl, she was probably 8 or 9. She was homeschooled and she was just going through all the characters, saying what movie she's seen, what she hasn't, and like everything else she's been interested in. She liked Matt's Lord of the Rings. Drawing a blank on the name. Well,
Was it
his Mox,
the Tales of the Space
Tales
like
of the Space
style?
Age Mox. Yes,
Yes.
she
Yeah.
had. He had some Lord of the Rings, and she was really funny, saying how she just finished reading The Two Towers. It's her favorite book, which blew my mind, being an 8-year-old reading To Two Towers. But just,
That's a long book.
mhm. But she was just a fun example of all the different kids' interest in Lego and pop culture and books and everything. And just being at this convention was really cool for them just because there was a lot for them to do. And like to our
Hmm.
left, there was a 3D printing station. And the day that you guys weren't there, they had sort of like a build your own makey, which is like the mascot of the Maker Faire. So
Hmm.
they would have it where you pick one of each body part essentially, and then you would put them together. And they were actually cool enough to let me build my own.
Oh, that's
So like,
cool.
yeah,
Oh,
so they would let you pick like the 6 pieces, and they came with a bag and instructions with the little pins how to connect them. So that's what
Well,
the
that's
kids did all day.
sweet.
They probably had like over 500 or so printed, I think, if not more. I mean, there were 1,600,
Jeez.
but there was a lot of these printed, and it's just a little fun little toy, spins around and such, different colors. I got the like remaining colors, I think, like the backup because like I got a lot of gray. But it was just a really cool experience just to see all those kids there, just having fun with all of our displays as well as like the 3D printing station right there next to me. And then outside of that, there really wasn't much else to say for that day that was different from what you guys saw. So I'll pass it on to Rob to talk about his little display.
Yeah, Rob had some cool stuff.
yeah. So I wasn't able to make Friday. I had to work, had adult responsibilities. But I was able to go Saturday. And so I didn't bring a ton. I brought, let's see, I brought one of my tanks. I brought a Sherman, so a World War II American main battle tank. And then I also brought a Titanfall 2 mech that I'd gotten instructions for and made. And then the one like wasn't big, but one of the more STEM related things I brought is I made a spirograph. So it's pretty much was a simple little mechanism that using gears and a motor and stuff, it would spin and make different designs and stuff on paper. And so that was a lot of fun because you could, kids would come up and we'd adjust it and then run it and then take 2 minutes. And so they'd have their own little picture they could take with them and stuff that they helped create and stuff. And we were making those all throughout the day and just having fun with it.
Yeah, that was a blast getting to sit next to because I was definitely not swiping a few of those every now and then when I'd see one that I
So
thought was
many
really
markers
cool.
died that day.
Yeah.
Not we only used you only went through like what one, right?
Really?
One and a half. Well,
Okay.
so I stopped for a certain point because we like had a kind of a backlog of drawings and stuff, and
So we were like, yeah, let's
um
chill for a bit.
yeah, but no, I'll get more supplies for next time. Actually, I think I have enough to last us next couple times. But
So you got a whole
Were
bin full of stuff.
yeah,
were
yeah.
there any like standout moments for you from that day? Like any special interactions with any kids or any other designers or fans of Lego?
Um, so there was a few. So I had a few fun conversations with some kids and one or two adults actually, like trying to like they wanted to talk about just like the mechanisms behind it and like how it's working and how the gears are getting it to rotate or them they had a real spirograph when they were like a kid and stuff and being like,
Hmm.
oh, that's cool if you reimagined it and stuff and being able to build that because that's what's great about Lego is that you can take something and build it and reimagine it and pretty much you can build anything you want. There we had everything from sets to GBC. I brought my tanks, spoiling it, but JJ brought his bat cave and all that, and so
Yes.
there's
Shire had all of her animals and like
yep,
Matt
all
had
the
all of his
animals.
cars, which
So
that's
it's
such a
just
cool display.
yeah,
Yeah, my Bat Cave did make well, two modules of
I
my
was about
Bat
to
Cave made
say,
an
not the
appearance.
entire thing.
There was a bunch I liked. I had a fun time with a lot of the parents of like there was parents and like then like old like adults and like teenage age or like college age kids kind of like us who
Hmm.
were kind of pointing out like they were pointing out the references inside the Batcave. Like other people were like there's the Ark of the Covenant. There's the original like Han Solo frozen in carbonite like 2x8 brick that was in there. A lot of people were having fun like pointing those out and being like, oh yeah, here's all these different references. A lot of the younger kids were just like, oh, look, it's the Batmobile. And then 2 seconds later, they're seeing the spirograph, and now they could care less about the Batcave, which was funny. Um, the GBC was drawing a lot of attention. A lot of people talking about that. We had like what one module went down, and it was
like
kind of funny how it was working
Hmm.
all day, and then the minute Jeff showed up, the whole stuff started falling apart. It was like, well, Jeff might be cursed.
There really wasn't much. It didn't go down. At least I didn't notice it on Friday. Like it went pretty smoothly.
Yeah, there
But
was there
we had
was
a
just
few
the
times
one
where
module
the
that had a
balls would
little.
just bounce out naturally.
Yeah, that
But
always happens.
yeah.
outside of that,
Hmm.
Um, I had a lot of fun looking at a lot of the other displays that were there. There was some other spots that had buildable Lego.
hmm.
Shira, obviously, I think her name is Flickin' Bricks is her name on. Well, we'll link her account. She's got a lot of fun stuff.
Hmm.
She does a lot of friends builds. So she had her like alien cafe that was getting a
That
lot of
was fun.
attention. People were loving that. Her husband Chuck had a bunch of like medieval themed stuff. He actually built a map out of like with a base plate and a bunch of bricks. And then on the base plate next to it was a bunch of like it was basically set up in the same way to where you could read the map and it would correlate to a spot on the other base plate. I thought that was awesome.
Hmm.
That was honestly really cool.
And then his
Um,
big display is
was
actually
his
on that map. It's like what's 2x2 on that map. It was his giant
was that big
display.
thing exactly. I think that's actually part of the medieval display we have for like the full on lug when we do big shows, I think. Maybe.
No, I think he kept his separate just because
Is it
he's like he's
separate?
doing a
Okay, never
full
mind.
on story
Yeah.
within
Yeah,
his.
that's right. Never
I
mind. My,
think
my bad.
it probably can be incorporated because I know the medieval village is collaborative to an
Yep.
extent. I know Jeff does a lot of it, but it is
Hmm.
if we can add tables and people can add as long
Mhm.
it's
As long
very
as it fits, because a lot of those builds are mills.
yeah.
Yeah. Matt had his tails, Brick Lizard, who we've linked a couple times here for people to take a look at. Had his custom Speed Champions cars, his Tales of the Space Age, and he also had his rebrickable
Mm.
Transformers. So if you're not familiar with those, basically somebody on Rebrickable went through and took the official sets for Optimus Prime and Bumblebee and effectively took the parts in those sets and rebuilt them into their movie counterparts. So the Optimus Prime and Bumblebee that he brought were the versions of them from the Bumblebee movie that came out in 2018. So that was really cool getting to see those. And Optimus Prime, that build was surprisingly fragile
So
compared to the
fragile.
official one, which was wild. GBC was running really well all weekend too, so that was fun seeing a lot of that work. The big tower we have is always really cool seeing operate.
Big Blue.
Um, yes,
The
but
funniest
outside,
part. Oh,
Go ahead,
good.
sorry.
I was gonna
You're
say
gonna
like the
go.
funniest part I think for both days for the GBC was when we finally turned it off for the day. Like everyone just had like a sigh of relief just because like that constant noise, like you don't notice it until it's gone.
Yeah. That
And
and
then
all
just
the
like
balls flying
ah,
everywhere and having to be on your toes to grab them when they go zipping by you.
yep.
Um, One of the things that was really fun was Matt Brickless had, I don't know if he bought it or just brought it with him, the poly bag of the X-Wing
Oh yeah.
Oh
that
yeah. Yes.
he just randomly built it like the middle of the day and
Mhm.
then was like walking around showing us all, and then he mounted it to the top of his Tales of the Space Age. And then like an hour later, we looked at him and he goes, "Guys, look!" And he had ripped it apart and rebuilt it into some sort of plane.
Yeah.
Like, what is
So
the
he's done
X-Wing?
that before at a few other events. So he normally, as some members do, bring like sets or things to do like during the lull moments or like when they want to take a
Mhm.
break from interacting with the crowd. And I forget what event he did, but he brought like four polybags to one event. I think it was a multiple day event, and he did it with like all of them, and they were I think all Star Wars and stuff. And so he built the normal thing, and then like an hour later he'd be like, "Look at this weird other ship I built and stuff." And he just you know.
The best was when he put the X-Wing together, he brought it over and he was holding it in his hand, and he had the bottom wings folded all the way down, and he had the top wings folded all the way up. So it was literally standing up in his hand like it was like doing like a handstand, like making the H. And it was ridiculously funny. And then like an hour later, he comes over and he goes, "Yo, guys, look." And he had like ripped it apart and it was like a totally different thing. I'm like, "Dude, I thought that was mounted to your build." He goes, "Yeah, it kept falling off, so I just took it apart and rebuilt it into something else." He also
Oh,
had the
jeez.
du he also had the Dune, the ornithopter with him, which
Mm.
was cool because it was kind of hidden behind his Tales of the Space Age build.
What was different
So
about this display to kind of explain that the tables
yeah.
were smaller than what we're
Hmm.
used to. Like they were 2 foot by like 6 foot when we're usually used to like 2.5 or something. So, and plus we had a lot of cool displays that we could kind of put away the Lego sets as
Yeah.
opposed to like the mocks. So like it was hidden but still reachable.
And it was kind of cool because it was like, and I feel like he was doing this on purpose. I didn't confirm with him, but he definitely was doing it on purpose where one of the little modules he had for his Tales of the Space Age is actually Arrakis from Dune
Hmm.
with the big suit with the sand worm coming out. I forget what
Mhm.
it's called. Coming out, people are like, "Oh, that's from Dune." He goes, "Yeah, guess what else is from Dune?" And he would just whip the thing out from behind his build. And I'm like, this man is like doing this to be like, "Yo, look what's back here." And then he would like flip the landing gear in, and he would do the wings with it, and people were like oohing and gooing over it. And I'm like, this, and then he'd be done and he'd put it back behind there. He'd wait like 25 minutes for new people to come up, then he would do it again. So he was kind of like strategically hiding it back there. So it
Hmm.
was always kind of funny how that worked out. But there was also a lot of non-Lego stuff that it was also very interesting.
Yeah.
If you know 3D printing, you probably have heard of Uncle Jesse. He is a very big 3D print YouTuber in the cosplay community. He has made a ton of stuff. Um, he most notably he made a 3D printed Magneto cosplay for New York Comic Con a
Oh
few
my
years ago.
God.
He did not have that with him, but he did have his life-size 3D printed Magneto statue that he's still working on finishing, which is insane. He's a friend of mine actually. I've collaborated with him a few times on some projects, which is cool. But his stuff was drawing people over. He had like 3D printed basketballs that actually bounced.
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah,
That was
that's what.
cool. And I kept seeing little kids with like 3D printed Pikachus, and I'm like, where are these Pikachus coming from? And then I walked over to his table to get a picture with him, and he's like, "You want a Pikachu?" I'm like, "You're the dude giving all the Pikachus out, like they're everywhere right now."
It was in that cool banana bowl.
Yes, it was in the banana
Oh,
ball.
that was what was in there. Because I
It
saw
was
the bowl and I was just like, oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
like
But
nobody knew it was in it until we got over there.
Hmm.
The event was held at Rochester Institute of Technology, RIT, here in Rochester. If you're not from the Rochester area, that's the college that we were at.
Which is why I grabbed this
I
from the 3D printing station next to us.
Yeah, and as you can see from behind me, I'm very clearly an alumni from there.
Would never
But
have guessed.
yeah, they had a lot of their very famous builds that were there that they've done.
Hmm.
The human hamster wheel is always
Oh,
Rob. You and I have seen that a million times,
oh
and
yeah.
Imagine and other stuff.
never got
That's
to go
always
on it.
and the motorized RC couches are also some of the greatest things to ever like. They literally built like an RC platform and put a couch on it, and it just drives around with people, which is funny.
I couldn't believe when I first saw that. And then like I think I saw that there was a chair too. And
Yeah, I think
then,
that is the recliner new?
So I think that was actually one of the other displayers because there was forget I think like a tech school like for like middle schoolers and high
mm,
schoolers that had a bunch of other like projects and stuff and ranging from
Interesting.
that. And I think that was from there.
The RAT was it the RAT train club or was it something else from the was another model train group was there. They had a
I think
really
RIT and and a different one as
it
well.
might
I
have been
think
both
there's
of them.
two.
They had the one display was awesome and was like fully fleshed out and everything. The RAT one was it was more bare bones because they wanted to show you more how the model train layouts were set
oh,
up. That was really interesting. And then obviously the 501st Legion had a presence there. That was really cool seeing them. There was like the Droid Builders Club was there. There was like three
mhm.
or four R2 units that kept driving by us every like couple hours or so. And then we had the Star Wars cosplayers were across from us. I forget what their name was.
Oh, it was
Um,
like Uncle see something. I
I
should know because
forget.
I was looking at them the entire day and I took a picture with the Mandalorian.
Yes. They had a bunch of really cool stuff also that they were displaying as well, which like a bunch of cosplay stuff.
Mm.
Was there anything, Rob or Cam, if whoever wants to start, that you guys kind of looked at that was like highlight wise, it was like another project that you guys were taken back by and like really enjoyed seeing?
Mm.
Minus the food trucks, because those were really
Oh,
good.
God, the food trucks.
Dang, you stole my
Um,
idea.
I mean, I
Oh.
was really impressed seeing like R2D2 walking around just because the day that you guys weren't there, I was walking around and I was just walking by and it was just him walking around. And I was just
Mhm.
Mhm.
trying to take a picture and a video, and then all of a sudden he starts walking towards me, like essentially talking to me. I'm like, okay, where's the person with like the remote making him talk? Because it reminded me actually, strangely enough, of Disney World because
Yeah, they had the R2s there.
no, something different. They used to have this talking, walking trash can in
The Gonk Droid.
Tomorrowland. No, like a legit trash, like a Disney trash
Oh, like
can,
an actual trash can.
like an
Okay.
actual trash can. Forget the name of it. I'm blanking on the name, but it would literally walk around and talk to you, and it would always be fun for me to try and find the guy who was had the little microphone and talking into it, talk to the person. Because at one point, I was wearing a Boston Bruins hat, and the trash can was like, "Hey, you got a bee on your head." So I'm trying to swipe it away, not realizing he's referencing the Bruins. But it just reminded me of that. So I'm looking for the person controlling it. And I never did with that R2D2. But outside of that, the couch really was cool to me. The hamster wheel I never got to walk on. And there was that bubble guy that drew a lot of attention.
Yeah, he was kind of interesting.
Mhm. But no.
Yeah. Um, I didn't walk too much around the displays. The I think it was like end scale trains, the really small ones. That was
Yeah.
cool. I wish I looked at that more. But there was someone as a gonk droid walking around.
Oh
And I
That
thought
was
that was
cool.
yeah.
cool. Because like it was what, like two like just totes pretty much
Two
stacked and
totes.
stuff.
Yep.
Like and I was like, it's a simple but like very effective way to get a gonk droid and stuff.
Mhm.
And then just them walking around in that was kind of cool to see.
Well,
And
isn't that what they used to get the main shape in the original movie? Was they used just two plastic totes?
It's
they
amazing what they
It's
used
gotta
back
be.
then to like make stuff like they use like an ice cream maker machine to like
Oh, the
carry
guy in Empire
money.
Strikes Back, yeah.
Yes,
The
like
famous guy with
just
the
the
ice
most
cream machine
random
running
stuff
around.
because they were trying to just save money. Like it works for today as well. Like I forgot about that Gonk Droid. That was like a really simple way to do it, but really effective.
One of the other things that's always at the Maker Faire that's cool is the recreation of the lunar lander.
that
That
was
thing is
cool.
all, it's like, I don't think it's to scale. It's scaled down a little bit. Um, but it's awesome and it's huge. Um, they had like a first man on the moon newspaper with, I think it was a recreation for sure.
Mhm.
But there's always stuff there. That's always really cool seeing all that. Um, I honestly think that our Lego display was pretty strong. Like
Oh, definitely.
we had a good diverse portfolio of builds. Oh, even talk about Scott's motorized haunted mansion.
Oh,
That literally
right.
was a recreation of the ride that like was motorized. So like the ride cars actually moved and went through inside. Now, the ride itself, he took the mini version that was the set and
Hmm.
he modified it. So basically like the train car would go into the little mini thing and that was kind of how the ride was. That was cool. And
Hmm.
he had the Disney World monorail built up also.
Yeah, he had like a very miniature version of the Epcot ball with a monorail that would just kind of spin around it.
Yep, that was cool.
Yeah, because I know it's been an ongoing project. I think he brought it to last year's Maker Faire, but he had I think a roughly minifig scale monorail that he was working on and stuff.
Mhm. Yes.
So I think he's still working on that.
I don't think he
No,
finished it yet.
no, another on like kind of the train pages. Jerry's trains. Did you see those
Yes.
ones?
Those
Yes.
were
The
cool. I saw those the
retro.
first day when we had a little bit of extra space to display.
Mhm.
He did like obviously like classic space. He did was it Mtron?
Yep, I think Mtron, Blacktron,
Blacktron.
Hmm.
He like did
Blacktron,
like all the classic
Mtron.
space themes in like train form, and it was just
Yeah,
really cool to see.
yeah, they did an Ice Planet one. I think there was four of them. I remember
Yeah.
seeing the Mtron and
I think there was five. I can't
Space.
remember what the other one
Was there
was.
five?
There was five, yeah.
Yeah, because then I know he like sprinkled them in the GBC area,
Yep.
just kind of like hidden in the modules, which was kind of funny and like just
Just to
cool.
fill in the little gaps. But like the GPC is
Yeah.
always just fun to watch. Like I even find myself like I've seen some of these couple three times now, and I'm still finding myself just staring at it and just following the red or blue ball, trying to
Mhm.
see how it goes. And then like I didn't even realize that Jeff mentioned that the project itself has been going for like 6 years.
Yeah, they just keep adding modules to it.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, no, there's a few of the Rock Plug guys are very into GBC and they've been doing it forever because boy, I've been in the club like 3 years now, 3, 4 years, but even then I would see them at events and they'd always have either, maybe a small GBC loop, but they've been working on it a while. I know talking to like Jeff and stuff, he's like, yeah, some of these modules are like 8 years, 8 to 10 years old. And you like look at the gears and like some of like the other parts and they're wearing down. They're
Yeah,
need
they're
to be
like
replaced
shot.
and stuff.
It was even more obvious at I think Brick Universe when you get back in April when they were all set up on that massive like 25-foot long table
Hmm.
because you could tell like throughout the day they're like pulling modules and it's shrinking down a little bit and they're like making tweaks on the fly. And it was like
They're swapping
that
them in and
display
out.
that display is so stressful because it's like if one module fails, all of them start failing because they're all linked together. It's basically one big loop. If you're not familiar with GBC, it's the Great Ball Contraption, basically like a Rube Goldberg machine, but it's just with Lego. And that's how Jeff explained it on the news when I saw his report. But it was basically just kind of like the way you design them is they're all built to be like you can pop one and you can pop one into any loop and it'll still function. So
Hmm.
what comes down to is the bigger you get, the more risk for like a module failure you have, and then when you have a module fail, you got to basically swap it out on the fly and put something else in there so all the balls don't just fall on the ground and go all over the place. But we had a smaller one; it was working really well. I feel like the only downside to GBC for someone if you're displaying like near it, like for me at this one, it was like people were like immediately people were drawn to movement. So like
Hmm.
Rob, your spirograph was huge because people were loving how it
Yeah.
was drawing stuff out. People were asking like, can you draw different shapes? How can we do that? You were explaining to them how it was working, which was cool because the you basically just moved how the beams were pinned in.
Yeah. Yeah, just simple moving, it's just two Technic beams and depending on those placement, um, it would change the shape. You're still somewhat limited to
Hmm.
the
Yeah,
shapes it could do, but
yeah. Overall, it was. I feel like overall, really fun show.
Oh,
yeah.
definitely. It was my third time displaying with the Rock Lug, actually. Because I've been busy lately, but like the last one I did was at the Strong Museum where we had a GVC that was working pretty well. We had Jeff and Chad there.
Hmm.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what they come up with for Brick Universe because I've been talking to like Pete, and he's got some really cool ideas on the forefront for Brick Universe this year for the GBC. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff happening. Um, we gotta add final thoughts for everybody on the Maker Faire.
food truck was
Well,
amazing.
You know, the
food,
food trucks
food,
are good.
Food
food
trucks are
trucks were
so
good.
good.
Rock City Sandwich. If you are watching this, which you are definitely not, you make the best sandwiches in Rochester. If you've not gone to that food truck yet, we are promoting them right now. Go find that truck and go eat from there because that sandwich is so good it's not even funny.
Their wing nuts are pretty good too.
Yeah, they had some really good stuff. They have just good food all around. You'll if you're
Yes.
going
Yeah.
there, you'll have good stuff. Um, Thank you for watching this week, though, everybody. If you have not yet already subscribed to the YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you are notified when all new episodes go live. All episodes, as always, Fridays at 2, except next week's episode will be going up at midnight on Friday morning.
Oh wow, yeah, that's right.
The reason for that is next week, teasing the episode for next week, is our Christmas list. We are going to compile together a bunch of sets that we think you guys should have, or to either buy on Black Friday for yourself, or to ask for Christmas if you want to ask family or friends for gifts this year. So to make sure we get ahead of the Black Friday stuff, that episode will be going up Friday at midnight, not at 2 p.m. So just make sure you keep an eye on that. We'll put stuff on Instagram and on the YouTube tab, a community tab, so you guys know that as well. Thank you to Rob for coming on and taking time out of your schedule. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me. It was a great time, and hopefully we can do this again.
Of course. Would you like to plug where people can find you real quick?
Yeah, so pretty much I'm only on Instagram, at Rob's World War II Bricks. So yeah,
We'll make
We
sure to
will have
link
that.
that in the description below.
That will be linked in the description. Yes. You can also find links to our Instagram at the Brick Hour Pod down there as well. And you can find a link to my Instagram at Langster Builds. Thank you all for watching. We will see you guys in the next episode. Have a great night. Happy building.